What would you do with your pricing if you knew you couldn't get it wrong? That's not a hypothetical. That's what we built price schemes to answer. Because here's what we hear constantly from operators across the industry. They've got great instincts. They know their venues. They know their customers. They know that Friday night in their city centre site is a completely different commercial opportunity to a Tuesday lunch in a suburban one. But when it comes to acting on that, the process is so fragile, it's so manual, it's so dependent on getting 5 different systems to agree that most teams just don't. They stick with what's safe. They wait for the quarterly review, and that gap between the decision they want to make and the one they actually deploy, that's where margin quietly disappears. Price schemes changes that dynamic completely. Instead of one flat pricing structure pushed across your whole estate, you can now build and run multiple schemes simultaneously, each one isolated, each one targeted, each one fully in your control. Want to test a price uplift across 10 venues before you roll it out to 200? Do it. Want to create a dedicated scheme for your event nights, your seasonal menu, your highest footfall locations? It's there. Want to nudge participation on desserts at lunch with a targeted reduction without touching anything else on the menu? Easy. Want to set different pricing for different channels, dine-in versus delivery versus click and collect? Done. And if something isn't working the way you expected, you don't need a developer, a support ticket, or a painful rollback process. You just switch it off instantly. And here's a moment that really brings this to life for us. An ops director we spoke to recently was visiting a site in Newcastle the night of the big Champions League game versus Barcelona. It's at St James's Park. The city is absolutely heaving and the restaurant is rammed. So the manager turns to the ops director and says, "Why can't we change our prices for an event like this?" The ops director calls finance calls IT comes back and says it's too complicated, it's too risky, we just can't do it quickly enough. And so they don't. And okay, that's one event, one site, one missed opportunity. But that moment is playing out hundreds of times a year across hundreds of sites across the whole estate. It's not one decision that makes or breaks your P&L, it's the compounding weight of all of them. Every event night, every local surge, every opportunity that got killed before it ever went live. And that's what we're here to fix. Pricing has always been one of the highest leverage things a hospitality business can do, but for too long the tools haven't matched the ambition. Price schemes is us fixing that, giving operators the confidence to act, the safety to experiment, and the speed to actually turn a good idea into a live result before the moment passes. And that's what this unlocks. And honestly, we're just getting started.